Hey you guys, it's me Kiana coming at you today, and I'm coming at you with a video on some real talk. So, um, hopefully you're interested and hopefully you'll stay tuned and let's get started. So, I know a lot of people have probably kind of been respectful, and even though that's a rarity sometimes on YouTube or social media, but I know a lot of people have been wondering how I'm able to cook the way I cook and even though I cook the way I cook, be 1 year post-op. And of course, either A, can't really eat those items, or B, shouldn't be eating those items, you know, because everybody define what, everybody has their own definition of what someone should be doing post-op. Um, Meanwhile, are they post-op? Have they lost half of their body weight? So um, you know it, so that's it really doesn't carry that much weight to me what others really think when it's concerning what you should be doing post-op. What I do is I just try to be the best I can be and find out what works for me and to live realistically. And when I say live realistically, um, so often you hear people, your coworkers and things like that talk about, oh, I don't eat this, I never eat this. But meanwhile, a year later, they big as a house. Or a year later, they at the same size that they said that they didn't eat those things, they're at the same size. So obviously you're eating something somewhere somehow because the proof is always in the pudding. You can get around, you could try to, say that, oh, I'm not going to, I definitely do this or I don't do that. But guess what? It's going to reflect in some way, shape, or form. It's going to be obvious to all. So, I say all that to say that I live realistically. I know that I'm going to eat a potato chip. I know I'm going to probably eat a cookie. I know I'm going to also probably drink a soda every now and then. You may don't want to hear it. It may go against what you believe one should do. It may be something totally against what you do being a post-op patient or being a person that lost a ton of weight. All of these things, great. You like it, I love it. But for me, what I do is I live realistically. In knowing all of those things, what I do is I find a balance. That's what I do. Um, I find, and I have had to find, and I'm still finding what works for me. So what I do is when you see these Sunday dinners, when you see these holiday spreads, guess what? For one, most people have a holiday spread. Most people feed their family on the holidays. So that's not a shock, I really don't think, to have a holiday feast. Um, but when you see Sunday dinners, sometimes I do eat those Sunday dinners. To be honest, most times I do. But what I do is, whenever I have a not so good day, what I do is I try to balance that off with like 2 to 3 days where I'm really strict on myself. Most times, what that consists of is loads of salads. And I say loads, but you already know that my loads or my definition of load is clearly not your definition because I only have how much of my stomach left, not much. So, our definitions are definitely going to be different. But I definitely make sure I load up on salads and then I just put protein on my salads. Um, Another thing I do is, and these tips are just me, I never eat white bread. I never eat white bread. What I do is I always eat things like sandwich thins. Every now and then, I may have like a sub roll. I know that goes against what I said. Well, I never eat white bread. When I say I never eat white bread, I'm talking about on a regular. Mm-mm. I may have like a sub roll maybe once a month or something like that. where I have like a sub or something like that, and it takes me literally from morning to night to finish that. If I'm lying, I'm flying, you guys. It literally will take me all day to eat that. And I'm not talking about a foot long. I'm talking about just a regular sub. Um, for one, it's really heavy on my stomach. For two, it's loaded with no nutritional value and just tons and tons of calories. And I just choose to stay away from it because this is what works for me. Um, so I eat a lot of things like sandwich thins because I'm still getting the feel and the taste of a sandwich, but I'm eating half of the bread, which is great for somebody like me because you guys know, if you've been following me for a minute, you guys know that before post-op, I'm sorry, pre-op, I was a carb junkie and I somewhat still am. It's just that I have to be mindful and try to cut wherever I can. Another thing is I count out things like croutons, where before I just would have just threw them on my salad. Now I count them out um, because I believe, and again, this is just something I do, what works well for me. Um, what I do is I cut wherever I can. Say if I want dressing, of course I'm going to have dressing on my salad. So I'll get something like a fat free or something like that dressing. Now I went through a couple of them to see which ones I like, and the one I like actually is the cheapest. It's Aldi's Fit and Fresh or Fit and Trim, whatever line brand, and they have a fat free ranch that tastes like regular ranch to me, but it literally cuts the calories in half. Another thing that works well for me is I cut my condiments. I no longer, I used to be one of those people that would ask for, this is my menu. I mean, this is my order. Whenever I would get a sub or a sandwich from somewhere, I would say, give me everything on it, extra mayo, extra fried onion. That's what I will always get on my sandwiches. Now, for one, first of all, onions really don't agree with my stomach. They kind of like turn my stomach only when I eat a lot of them. Now, I was a huge onion lover. You guys remember, again, if you've been following me for a long time, I was a huge onion lover. So the fact that I can't eat that much onions now is like, wow, okay. So I can eat onion, but I can't eat a lot of them, or my stomach just feels like it's just doing cartwheels. Um, so that's one thing. I don't get a lot of condiments on my food. And when I do want condiments, I try to gear it towards like mustard and things like that because I've never had, even at almost 500 pounds, I've never had high blood pressure. So I don't have it either now. Thank God, praise God, hallelujah. Um, so mustard, of course, when you are comparing it to mayo and things like that, yes, it has some sodium in it. That's not my issue because I don't have that issue and I don't partake in a whole pile of salt. Um, but mustard is far less calories um, than mayo. So, and also it's fat free, in case you didn't know that. So, yeah, so I cut my condiments. I no longer ask for um, heavy on the mayo. No, I no longer ask for that. If I ask for any mayo, it's going to be light mayo, and that's if I ask for any. Because a lot of times I can actually go without any mayo on my sandwiches. Now, a lot of people that have had weight loss surgery, they have to have like sauce and mayo and things like that, or barbecue sauce or something like that. You probably won't understand it unless you've had weight loss surgery, but a lot of people that have had weight loss surgery, they have to have something wet to make their food go down better. It's kind of gross when you think about it, but that's just something that they have. I don't have that issue. And everybody issues are different or process is different. Um, so I cut corners with condiments. At the end of the week, you guys, I've saved tons of fat grams. I've saved tons of calories. Um, I've saved some sugar grams, all kinds of things by just cutting out some things. Cutting out, I'm still eating bread, I'm still eating condiments, but I cut them literally down in half or eliminate them at all altogether. And trust me, it works. It works at the end of the week. For instance, when I eat pasta, I usually buy Dreamfield pasta, which is a low carb pasta. That way I'm still getting it, but yet it's still cut literally by like 75% of carbs. A lot of people use spaghetti squash and stuff like that, and that's all good and fine and dandy. I do that at times, sometimes as well. But when you want real pasta, um, and you don't want a huge substitute that you actually can tell, that's a good substitute, and that works well for me. Um, yeah, so these are just little things I do. I no longer grab things and don't think about what I'm eating. For instance, I had gourmet chocolates for Thanksgiving, and you guys know I'm not big on sweets, right? One second, Daddy. You guys know that I'm not huge on sweets. Um, so when I would eat one or two, I looked at the back of the box, and they were Russell Stovers, so they were really rich chocolates, good chocolates. And the back of the box said two were 150 calories. So you better believe I only ate two, because for one, I'm not really huge on sweets, so I was definitely satisfied with two. But for two, I am very conscious about what I eat, even the times when I'm not eating items that are considered not that good for me. I'm still conscious about it. I'm realistic, but I'm conscious about it. Um, and thank God, because my sleeve, what that does is it stops me from overeating. Now, sure, my job is to make the best decisions that I can, realistically, okay? But my sleeve stops me from overeating. So I'm so thankful for that, because even when I eat those not so good things, I don't overindulge, or I don't go too far. And that's why I'm still able to still be losing weight. Sure, my weight loss has slowed down, but that's to be expected, being that now I am 1 year post-op. But it's still going, and I am in no hurry, no rush. That's why when I was 9 months post-op, when I was 10 months post-op, when I was 6 months post-op, when I was 3 months post-op, I was still happy and satisfied. Why? Because I don't have these unrealistic expectations. See, the key word that I keep reiterating is realistic, being realistic. And when you're being realistic, and when you realize that you went morbidly obese all of your adult life, when you've been obese almost 40 years, there is no hurry to drop, you know, 300 pounds, say if that's your desire. There is no hurry to drop 300 pounds in 12 months. First of all, it's not going to be feasible, probably. Second of all, it's not probably going to be safe. And third of all, you're going to put these burdens on yourself that are not obtainable. And then you're going to walk around still, even being successful, even still losing weight, even not being where you were, still not satisfied and happy with where your progression is at the moment. So the key is to have realistic expectations. The key is to find what works for you, and be okay with making those errors until you actually find out what works. Because guess what? We've tried the being morbidly obese. We've tried being overweight. We've tried the struggles with that. Try this. If you tried everything else, one more thing to try is not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt. Because guess what? That's still one step closer to being successful than you were when you were doing nothing about it. When you just was eating your life away. When you ate with no conscience and ate with no thought process behind it. When you just gorged on whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. So these are just things that I do. Okay, so when you see a feast for a holiday, when you see a cooking video, maybe every now and then, when you see Sunday dinner spread, know that first of all, I may or may not be partaking in it, but even if I do, you better believe I'm being successful still in my weight loss, because I balance it out with, if I do something bad, you better believe I'm going to do 3, 4, 5 things good. And eventually it balances itself out. That's just what I do. So I hope this has answered any questions that you had silently, and I hope that it has given you some pointers on how to not only do what I said that I do, but maybe find something that works for you, and to get on that path of finding exactly what that is. So I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for allowing me to share and finding value in that of which I do. I will talk to you guys later. Make sure you check out my store, which is bighus52.webs.com. It's Kiana Diva Designs, and the link will be underneath of this vid. You will get everything that you've known for me to be about in the last year and a half, which is great service, great products, amazing prices, and unique styles. Find out why they love us so, and you can do so underneath this video. The link will take you directly there. Again, it's Kiana Diva Designs, and it will be our pleasure to service you there. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, and thanks for watching. Be blessed.